Hi, everybody. This is Jim Cornette, pro wrestling legend, and you're listening to the Book in the Territory Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast.
This is the artist formerly known as Daryl Van Horn, James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and I'm here to let you know I would rather slam my cock in a car door than to miss the dulcet tones of Hard Body Harper, my illegitimate son, on Booking the Territory podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to our Smoky Mountain Rasslin podcast. This is Smoky Mountain Wrestling, episode 180 from July the 8th, 1995. And this is Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling podcast, where today I am once again sitting here with Doc Turner and not Hard Body Harper. If you missed the beginning of last week's episode, we explained why Harper may not be able to join us for the rest of Smoky Mountain. He'll be the NWA show, as far as we know, but due to his shoot job, he is not with us. So, Doc, what's going on, man? We just did an episode, so how are you?
I'm feeling energized and refreshed about all the great wrestling that we're going to talk about today in terms of the calendar day to spew out all this fantastic content for the people. Man, we're blessed. We've been at the shoot job all week. It's been a full-on shoot for both of us, and now we're here. We made it to the end of the week so that we could talk about the things that we want to talk about, which is classic wrestling, right?
What a freaking week, bro.
Bro, these people are trying to kill us, man. It's like everybody got together and hatched a plot to do us in, and I don't like it. Maybe we should roll down to the shoot job. Here's maybe what everybody ought to do on Monday. This comes out on Sunday, so if you listen on Sunday night, roll in tomorrow morning and just punch the shit out of somebody at work.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that. But, let me tell you something. I told you many years ago that when everything was a work and wrestling kind of ruins you, and which it does. If you remember, I said that loud and clear. And the problem with wrestling is it exposes you to what a spot monkey and spot monkey tactics are. Therefore, when that crap pops off at the shoot jobs for everyone, not just us, but our listeners, it makes it worse at the shoot job because now you've uncovered all these spot monkey activities that these idiots like to do and put extra work on you, and it just ruins it. It makes work even harder. Agree or disagree?
I agree. I mean, once you're quote unquote woke at the shoot job to the ways of, once the wrestling has taught you that everything's a work and it makes pay me a little bit easier on sometimes, and it makes it a little bit harder on others.
Right.
But you're correctly assessing the territory, and it's like, bro, this motherfucker over here is just going to try to make more work for me while they're trying to get over at my expense,
Yeah,
when you start putting it in those terms about where you are on the card and who's trying to get your spot on the card for reasons that are selfish, man, it exposes some things, and it really changes how you look at your job. And I'm telling you, if you're down at the Sonic delivering slushies, or you're in the boardroom, or you're down like Blassie at the damn hospital clinic or his doctor's office, this shit's going on. There's a pecking order, and there's the main event, and there's the opening match at every shoot job, and people are trying to do their shit around it. And people like us are like, man, can I come in, work hard, do my job, and go the fuck home? And all that other shit that you want to do, y'all do it. But leave me the fuck out of it.
Amen.
I'm trying to sit here at my desk, do my job, avoid having to attend meetings, and I am with instant message with Mike and listen to wrestling podcast and do my work.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. All right. With that said, you summarized it well. How about we get into this thing?
Well, yeah, no more opens, so let's just go ahead and hit the ring, I guess.
All right. Shout out to Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Kyle Riley, Mike Childry for your generous patronage. And As I thank them, I want to remind everyone, again, it's July the 8th of 1995, and this is taping number 4 from Sevierville, Tennessee at Caton's Chapel Elementary School. We should be in a new venue next week, I believe. I can't remember. I watched these a couple weeks ago. Anyway, with that said, we'll get into this thing. Les Thatcher and Chip Kessler, they open up the show. Kessler opens the show and throws us straight to Summer Blast 1995, where we have Brad Armstrong in the ring battling Buddy Landel from Barberville, Kentucky for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Heavyweight title. Doc, I guess you could say I got a lot of notes.
I kind of, for me, I do. I'll kind of start you here and see what's up. We have the match, and they're going back and forth. Look at this neck breaker. Buddy didn't take it all that well, huh?
No, he didn't take he didn't take the back bump good. He kind of rolled back instead of just flying back. And
wait, who's that at ringside?
Kenny Bolin, a.k.a. Kenny Rising.
Yeah, Kenny Rising. I looked at Buddy here. Buddy looks like he's put on some pounds lately. And wouldn't you know who won a pony, but in a second after BA gets pinned, here comes Tracy to interfere again. Jesus Christ. How many times has Tracy Smothers come out and interfered in matches?
Well, he was told to do that, so I wouldn't blame him.
I'm kidding. I mean, I'm talking about it from a storyline perspective. Not that Tracy's back there like, oh, shucks, Jim, I got to get out there and stop that shit.
So what happens here, what Doc is talking about, Armstrong hits Buddy with the Russian leg sweep and was about to pin him, but Cornette rang the bell to stop the count. So the ref turns around and he's checking with the timekeeper like, what the hell happened? Why the bell rang? Buddy is handed a gimmick, a chain or something, and then Buddy hits Armstrong with the gimmick while Mark Curtis's back is turned. Armstrong goes down. Buddy knocks out Brad with the gimmick, and he pins him. So then, I don't know what the hell happened. I guess they check with the timekeeper, who's Bolin, or Kenny Rising, and Tracy, like you said, is out there explaining what happened. They decide to restart the match. Now Brad wins. He pins Buddy, this time with the Russian leg sweep, because Buddy's distracted because he's trying to say, no, don't restart it. But does he win? Because then we're going to go to the back for a promo to help clarify this thing. So as of right now, Brad Armstrong is the Smoky Mountain champion, but I think we need to go to the promo to get some clarifying information in on what the hell just went down here. Would you agree, Doc?
I think I would.
Okay, so let's now go to the back where, let's go here from the timekeeper first, which is kind of funny at that. Here it is.
When Cornette got punched, he fell into me, took the hammer, rung the bell. It wasn't my fault. The referee was coming to me saying, did you ring the bell? I didn't ring the bell. Cornette rang the bell. I didn't ring it. They kept starting the match. I kept ringing the bell as I was told by the referee, and someone else kept winning 3-4 times. I don't know. All I know is it wasn't my fault.
The bell rang just as I was getting ready to count 3 on Buddy Landel. I went over and I asked the timekeeper what was going on. He told me that Cornette rang the bell. So that didn't mean that the match was over, so I told him to start the match again. Bell rang, I turned around, Brad was down, Buddy was on top, I counted 1, 2, 3. I thought that was it. Then Tracy came down and told me that Buddy Landel used a pair of brass knuckles. Well, that's not fair either. So I started the match again, rang the bell, turn around, Buddy goes, what the heck? Brad hit the Russian leg sweep, 1, 2, 3. At that point, counted 3, but I didn't really know what the hell was going on.
Hey, I heard the bell ring. I came out. I saw the referee talking to the timekeeper. Then Unabomb came out, and everything got real crazy. He gave Landel some knucks or something. Next thing I knew, he's done knocked Brad out. I went out and I told the referee, and he started the match over, and I don't know what happened before that.
Everybody's saying I rang that bell on purpose, and Brad Armstrong tried to kill me, knocked me into the timekeeper, and he's the one that rang the bell, that idiot timekeeper. What I want to know is how can the referee justify a match being over, Buddy Landel pinning a man, getting his hand raised, the bell ringing, and then starting the match again and having somebody else win, and now Buddy, he's got our belt.
I want my stinking belt, Armstrong. The veins in my neck are turning into goat heads. I'm ticked off. You got my property. You're a thief. I ought to call the police and have you arrested. I'm going to kick your stinking brains in soon. Oh, God.
There it was.
I had Landell beat. I heard the bell ring. I jumped up. There's Cornette pulling some kind of trick, ringing the bell early. I turned around. Landell knocked my head off. Counted 1, 2, 3. I knew something was up. Landell can't hit me that hard with just his plain fist. Then I heard the referee say, let the match continue. The bell rang again. I swooped in, wiped Landell with a leg sweep. 1, 2, 3. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the champion. Possession is 9/10 of the law, brother. And Landell, if you want this belt, you're going to have to come and get it.
I had a chance to review the tape of the match between my son, Brad Armstrong, and Buddy Landell. And a bigger mess I've never seen. Each man looked like he had won the match a couple of times. The referee was confused. The timekeeper was confused. Everybody was confused. So I'm trying to be impartial as I can. So what I'm doing is declaring that the Smoky Mountain title, as of now, is vacated. And the only answer to solve this problem is at Summer Blast, we'll give both these men, Brad Armstrong and Buddy Landell, a chance to win this title. The first one to win at Summer Blast, a pinfall or gain a submission, will be the champion. However, since Buddy Landell was the last recognized champion, in August, he still will have the Intercontinental title. He'll have a chance at that title unless Brad Armstrong beats him at Summer Blast, and then Brad will assume that position. That's the only thing I know how to do. I hope it doesn't make anybody mad, but that's my decision. As of now, this title is vacated.
Boy, Harper would blow a gasket right now, Doc, if he were watching this.
Why?
Because he doesn't like when something like this goes down, because he says, well, then why not do it like that every time the heel cheats? Every time the heel cheats, let's start reversing decisions and hold up titles, and let's do that. And
but I like
he's got a point to it.
He's got a point, but I like the idea that Bob is presenting himself as such a straight arrow that even his son isn't above the letter of the law.
Well, there's something to that too. So as I said, Harper would go off on it. I understand.
Here's the thing. So I was wondering if Bolin took time out of his Kroger scam to be able to be there and cut that promo. Why does Mark Curtis always believe Tracy?
You're asking too many questions, pal.
Corny has all kinds of good points, and then I laughed when he hit the wall and it hurt his hand, because that's good stuff. I kept waiting for Brad Armstrong to say something like a cloud. I don't know why. And then Bob was standing in front of lockers, and I have a weird, phobia about lockers.
Okay. Care to
you ever
why?
Well, yeah. You ever have
Somebody
nightmares?
put you in one or something?
No. Come on, pal.
Okay.
You ever have nightmares about a specific event? Like, okay, you're at the match. Even now, you're out of the business, but you're at the match and you forgot your gear or something like that.
I can't say that's ever happened to me.
Okay. Well, I have a recurring nightmare that I have even to this day, years and almost 30 years out of being out of high school, where I'm trying to get over from the school part over to the gym, my locker room for basketball practice. And I get there and I can't remember my locker combination on my locker. And practice is about to start and I can't even get changed because I can't remember my damn three number combination to get at my clothes so that I can get my shot on, get my game on. And it happens I'd say a couple of times a month still. So I don't really like lockers all that much.
You need help. That's what you're dreaming about. Okay.
No. I would imagine that there's people out there. There's another one I have, although it's subsided over the years. Because when I was in college, I waited tables. And there's the one, and I've heard other waiters have this too, where they just keep seating you more tables, and you can't catch up, and you're just in the weeds, and you're freaking out. So
I understand that one.
I bet you you never know what your brain hits on. So I just think that there's going to be more people out there that understand what I'm talking about than you think.
Okay.
But all that to be said is we've got another schmoz at the top for the title. We've got to figure this thing out. And I trust Bob Armstrong now because he has actually laid down the law with his son involved and taken the title away. And so now I think I trust him.
And let's remind everyone, Bob Armstrong said he vacates the belt because of it all. So basically, not he vacates it, but he's holding up the belt because of all of this that went down. And that's that. So no one is the holder of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Heavyweight title right now. And let's keep going. We did get a promo from the Headbangers. I don't have anything from it. Doc, did you?
They said that they're coming to our arenas. I've never thought of a high school gymnasium as an arena, but whatevs. Did they remind you at all of like a 1995 version of the New Breed?
No.
Okay.
Not even close.
Okay. I always liked the Headbangers, and I'm saying that. I mean, in WWF, I liked them.
Well, that's the irony of this. You know, like we're seeing them here at a different stage of their career than we'll see them. I mean, they become a really popular team in the WWF in just a few years. So, you know,
that's right.
It's funny we talk about them here, and their promos are really weird. I mean, they got better. I mean, they got a lot better. That's really the point that I probably should say that more. They got a lot better. Their promos here are just but they do get a lot better. The next match is Larry Santo and D'Lo Brown versus the Thugs, Tracy Smothers and Dirty White Boy. My God, times have changed here. D'Lo went from one of the gangsters to now he's tagging with Larry Santo.
Ooh.
The Thugs win, and that was my only note.
I'm going to say this. My only note was Hales on commentary doesn't really work for me.
No, I don't like Randy on commentary. Like I said, I like him in the little role he had in talking shit to Mark Curtis. I think that's good. But other than that, yeah, no. Anything else from the match, though?
Not really. It was fairly decent, but man, I was thinking the same thing about poor D'Lo.
Do you have anything from the Thugs promo after the match?
No, because here's my note on that. It really doesn't matter what they say as long as you get the tagline at the end.
Right. All the rest is filler. They give you a lot of filler, and they tell you what THUGS stands for.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, so let's keep going. Something else is going to happen with them coming up, so I'll save what I have to say about that for later. We get the Super Bowl of Wrestling. We get another Super Bowl of Wrestling plug, and, you know, we're heading that way. No need to really talk about the matches or anything right now. We then get the Punisher, who is wrestling, and he's going to defeat Mike Mason. He defeats him in under a minute. Doc, do you have anything from this? I don't.
It was a squizosh, but man, Buchanan with that top rope leg drop is no joke. That's a big man coming down.
Top rope leg drop by anyone is impressive when you consider what it does to your goddamn spine and hip. I think people really need to realize that. That is a hell of a move. Hell of a move. But
he's a big guy delivering it.
Oh my God, he's huge, man.
I'm trying to get a little. He's 6'7". He's billed as 6'7", 275.
He's probably not 6'7".
No, he's probably closer to like 6'4", 6'5", but that's a lot of meat rolling downhill.
That's a big man flying across the ring, dropping that leg. I give that.
But man, I want to hear about my old dead friend. Meow, meow.
Okay, stop. Meow. So before we get to that,
tell me about the pussy.
We get a replay of poor Boo Bradley losing to Terry Gordy and getting beat down and his teddy bear ripped open, and then we go to a promo from Boo Bradley, who's grieving in the back by the lockers with his teddy bear. Here it is.
You know something, people out there? All my fans, everybody here knows me, and every time I come to Smoky Mountain Wrestling and I find a friend, someone takes him away. First it was Boots the Cat. He was only a little kitten, and Chris Candido killed him in the middle of the ring. I got revenge on Chris. I made friends with Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack gave me my teddy bear. my teddy bear was Bobo. Well, Terry Gordy, you not only did you beat me, but you hurt my little friend, who's no more. I tell you, Bob Armstrong told me about some guy who used to wrestle in Smoky Mountain before it was even Smoky Mountain in Knoxville. A big, strong guy like me who didn't have any friends. And I'm telling you, I'm going to find this guy. And maybe he'll be my friend. Maybe he'll help me fight the people that did this. Terry Gordy, I make a promise now that I'm going to do whatever I can to get at you, at Jim Cornette, and every one of the people that are involved with Jim Cornette. I'm going to rip the stuffings out of him, just like you did to my pet Bobo.
Well, I'm sure that Commissioner...
All right, Doc, what do you have from Boo right there?
Man, I popped when he brought up boots. Then his little stuffy got fucked up. Man.
Dude, they murdered a cat.
They murdered a cat. That was fantastic.
I mean, they didn't actually murder a cat, but the insinuation that the cat was murdered was there. Chris Candido dropped a leg drop on the bag.
Why are we talking about this like it's real?
Keep going, but what did you have?
Man, his stuffy got fucked up. Every time he gets a friend, he loses it. I feel bad for Boo. He's a sympathetic sap, man.
I do too. I feel bad for him.
And see, before he had the haircut that was all shaved and weird and all that, now that he's grown his hair out, he looks like one of these fucking pathetic people.
Oh, come on, bruh.
What are you talking
grow
about?
up.
I didn't say he looks like Ryan Arwine or whatever. I just said he looks like some of the bottom feeders in the community.
You're just an idiot. That's all it is to it. See? All right. We go to the next promo. It's Cornette, Budrow, and Punisher. Cornette is promoting Summer Blast, the rest of it. And then I don't really have anything. Again, I don't have anything.
I got a couple of questions that don't have to do with anything with the promo, but that we can talk about regarding the promo. Corny is everywhere now. And so my question is it too much corny?
Yep. Once again, like we said last week, we can like somebody, but
I think if Corny was being honest here, and there's no reason to think he wouldn't, he would admit that too.
But see, here's the thing: when you are the business owner, and
when you're losing money, and you're stressed, and you're driving to Connecticut and coming back here, you can't see the forest for the trees. But in hindsight, I would bet good money he was like, yeah, this wasn't the optimal way to go.
Right, to have me doing every single thing every single time. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think so too. I agree.
The other note I had is that this Army gimmick is making me miss the Union gimmick.
No, not me. The Union was dumb.
I'm just kidding. And then here's...
Go ahead.
Please. No, you...
I was going to play Buddy's part, but go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, we'll play Buddy's part. Because my next comment is about the Bood.
Okay, here it is.
Happening at Summer Blast, he will be again, right, Nature Boy? Let me explain something to you, Brad Armstrong. I've come too far to turn back now. I am the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion. And what's more important, I'm going to get that WWF Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match August the 4th. You see, because I've got bigger fish to fry than you, boy. You slide in here on some peach wagon from Georgia thinking you're going to have some retribution on Jimmy Cornette and me. Let me explain to you something to you, son. I'm the premier athlete here, and I'm going to stay the premier athlete. I'm going to win my belt, and I'm going to beat whoever the WWF Intercontinental Champion is on August the 4th. And I'm going to hold 2 titles. I don't care if it's that stinking Vince McMahon, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, Razor Ramon, whoever it is. I'm going to be the man because I'm the man that stirs the drink in professional wrestling. And don't you ever forget it. Let me just explain one thing with Terry Bam Bam Gordy, with the Punisher, with Tommy Wildfire Rich, with Al Snow and Unabomber and the Nature Boy, Buddy Landell. I've built the strongest militia that's ever been assembled in professional wrestling. And Brad Armstrong, Bob Armstrong, all the rest of you, all you're going to have to do is sit back and take a back seat because, hey, we do more before breakfast than most people do all day.
Corny when he salutes. Okay. Your thoughts on not Brad, on Budrow?
Can you imagine Buddy Landale and Marty Jannetty hanging out socially and recreationally.
Back then? Well, not right now. When?
Well, Buddy would have a hard time making the party, but
Buddy's clean right now, though. So, like,
I'm talking. Oh, I thought you meant today.
No, I mean, like, in '95, Buddy's good buddy,
dude,
according to Corny.
Is he? Is he?
That's what Corny. I'm only look. I wasn't around him. I'm going off of the word Corny.
I'm saying the addict's version of clean is not exactly what other people's version. You know,
it's funny how you gonna sit there and slander Budrow right there, but then you gonna take up for the other snorter, Tommy Wildfire Rich. I find that very, very, very hypocritical of you. You're gonna sit there and say, the clean version of Buddy, but then you're gonna sit there and take up for the fucking snorter himself.
Well, I want to know why you go after the snorter himself, but give Buddy a pass.
Buddy never tried to punk me in front of the boys.
Yeah, there you go. You got a personal issue because you haven't let it go.
Well, I mean, look, don't even go there with me because you can hold a fucking grudge like with the best of them. Please.
What have I ever held a grudge on?
Oh, don't start. Don't start. Don't get me started. You can hold a grudge on stuff. Not with me. I'm not talking about with me. I'm just saying some of the stories you've told me.
Oh. I'm just saying, back in the day when those two were both fully engaged in the scene, can you imagine Buddy and Jannetty together?
Look, I'm not.
Marty Jannetty tweeted in the past 2 years that he was attracted to his daughter.
Yeah, don't believe that dude's just a head case. I don't know if I believe anything that.
That's what I'm saying. Back when he was younger and hitting a lick, and Buddy was getting the Peruvian and busting guts out. Can you imagine those two tag teaming the bar?
Here's what you don't understand. You're singling out those two. Man, wrestlers in general during that time frame, you could, if there were 10 of them lined up, grab 8 of them. You got the exact same scenario.
I get that. I'm saying these two may be your superstars. First round draft choices if we're going to go for consumption and kicking it and causing problems and banging ass and smoking all the drugs and all of it.
I think Tommy Rich is worse than these two, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, well, I'm sure you do, and I want to apologize to all the listeners because we can't have a full discussion anymore about anything because it always has to come back to Tommy Rich. Everybody notice that for like years on this show, he's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Fake Stan Lane, it's not me, man. It's Harper and Doc.
It's true. It is y'all. It is you especially.
And now we get to a Fed with him in it, and you can't handle it.
Because he's in the promotion and he's killing it. He's like literally killing Smoky Mountain.
Okay.
But I'll stop. Can we move along now?
Well, Brad's talking to us, man.
So Brad cuts this long storytelling promo. But I want to say something about it because I think we should summarize it and not play it. And here's why.
I agree because my note was, man, this is really good meat and potatoes, all shucks. Kind of in the same vein of what we've heard from Tracy before, but it has BA's sling on it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good. I had another thought, but I was going to see if you wanted to chime in without talking about Tommy Rich.
So Brad is good here. He explains why he came to Smoky Mountain. He explains why he may not have gotten the push that he deserved in WCW and how he ended up in Smoky. And it just was real. All shucks, baby face. I really need to get behind this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought from that perspective, he's pouring his soul out in a way. I thought he was just really solid as he explained how he got here and why it didn't work in WCW. What did you have?
Same thing. And I thought, he was kind of shooting on WCW. It was his dream. He thought it was his dream. I just wonder how many guys thought that too and had the same outcome as him. And, I'm not going to, let me see how I want to say this. I bet you that you'll get somebody that says he's right about this on what I'm about to say. But from what I've read, you go to like the Kentucky, Tennessee, that Smoky Mountainish area, those folks, and I'm generalizing here, but stay with me. They're generally distrustful of the quote unquote the man, big government, big corporations, because those have traditionally come in and fucked shit up around that area, the Tennessee Valley Authority, that kind of thing. And so they're very suspicious of outsiders. They're very suspicious of the big companies that are going to come in and try to, take advantage of the rubes, if you will. And so I bet you that Brad's promo really resonated because he was talking about the big bad Rasslin company that squashed his dream, when now he's home and he's trying to make good and win that title.
Yeah, I hate agreeing with you, but yeah.
And I'm probably analyzing that far deeper than anybody else did, but I think people had subconscious psychological reactions to these promos that they wouldn't exactly could articulate if you ask them, but that shit was happening. And then after that, fuck the rest of this episode because the tape don't work.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that. I agree with everything you said there about Brad, and I thought it was really solid, and it was very good storytelling and very sympathetic, and it made me want to get behind him and want to see him win and do well in Smoky Mountain. So, like Doc said, we go from that to the rest of this episode. The copy that is on YouTube is, and it's the only copy we have because the WWE has not loaded this any more than like 10 or 12 episodes that are up right now. We go to Brad Armstrong versus Killer Kyle, and again, the quality of the tape is so bad, it's really hard to see what's going on clarity-wise. But, we're thankful for what we get. Brad wins with his finisher, but for us to analyze this in any way, shape, or form, I don't know if we're really going to do it. Doc, do you have anything more from it?
Only if you'll go to 35-10 and look at these. Look at the future here.
35-10. Let's see. You're making fun of children again. That's not right. Come on, bruh.
What? There's the future. You think those two
grown up now, dude?
I know they're probably going to want to drive over to Texas and try to whoop your ass for that.
They'll whoop you, not me. What other thoughts about Brad and Killer Kyle?
Nothing. I kind of wished I could have seen more of this because I'd have been interested. But what else? I can't make it happen. But Kyle's in the same boat as D'Lo.
Well, Kyle's been around forever too at this point. But the other thing I was going to say is you could tell this is taper number 4 from here because man, the place is empty.
The place is empty, pal.
They've cleared out. They're tired. They're ready to go home. You got this one hillbilly right here. He's standing up yelling. I guess he just did a line and it excited him. But anyway, just did some meth or something. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Come on, people, grow up. Anyway, after Brad defeats Killer Kyle, we get Bob Armstrong in a very quick promo. We get an update from him, and Bob tells us regarding the dynamic duo versus the Rock and Roll Express in that match that should be happening soon. If the Rock and Roll loses, the Rock and Roll will have to leave Smoky Mountain Wrestling. If the Rock and Roll wins, they win the title. So there's that. Again, the match that we should have coming up soon is the dynamic duo versus the Rock and Roll Express. And if the Rock and Roll lose, they have to leave Smoky Mountain. Doc, any thoughts on Bob Armstrong's promo?
Just good old Bob.
Good old Bob. His tape quality is just poor. And that's that. Okay. So then let's go to the last match. And this is actually how the show ends. And again, tape quality is still just, it's terrible at this point. It's supposed to be the Wolfman and Lee Thomas versus the dynamic duo. But it ends up being a little something different. Out of nowhere, after Cornette says that his team will put the titles on the line, his team being the dynamic duo, the Rock and Roll slide into the ring, and now we have a title match for the Smoky Mountain tag straps. Doc, again, we're battling through tape quality here. What did you have from this, if anything?
Nothing.
Okay, well, let me just say, the Rock and Roll do win by DQ in a very uneventful match to close the show. I feel like Corny knew this taping was so long, he's like, let's give him a title match for the people who stayed, but it ends up being a DQ. The Rock and Roll win by DQ, and then that's that. We go off air, and then nothing else happens. I mean, just kind of a popcorn fart, but I get it at the end of this show because we were 4 hours into it at this point.
Yeah.
So, do we need to rate this thing now, or you got anything else to say before we do so?
We got Tommy Rich making his in-ring debut next week.
All right, so with that said...
Come on!
We're going to go to disability checks now, but before we do so, I want to remind everyone, use our Amazon referral link at tinyurl.com/BTTAmazon. That's tinyurl.com/BTTAmazon. A great way to support this show without spending anything extra. Give that link to the wives, girlfriends, hoes, side pieces in your life and tell them to use it every time they use Amazon. Again, tinyurl.com/BTTAmazon. Doesn't cost you anything extra to use that link. Disability checks. Doc, how many are you giving this one? And don't rate it based on the tape quality.
No. I'm gonna take that out of it, and no. Keep in mind that there was a couple of good matches there. I'm gonna say an 8 straight up.
Okay, so an 8.
An 8.
All right. I give this one a B plus. I guess again. No, I give it a B, and that's that.
Okay.
So. And there we see it on the on-screen graphic. If you're watching on our Patreon feed, it says Tommy Wildfire Rich debuts. Gee, can't wait. Let's go to the Government Cheese Award, named by longtime listener Shard Johnson. Remember, as I'm saying, we're going to do the Government Cheese. Don't forget to consider becoming a patron at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Great way to support this show without spending, by spending a little extra, but you get over 200 plus patron exclusive episodes at that link. Government Cheese Award. I think I'm going to give it to Brad.
Okay, so do you know that this constitutes not being 90% done with this?
What do you mean?
We're on episode 180, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
90% of the way done. I just was doing a little math while you were flapping your gums. We're almost done, man. We're almost free of these shackles.
Okay. Something like that. I remember when we got to episode 20.
What promotion we gonna do next on the free feed, pal?
I think I'm gonna crank one off on Fridays when we normally do this. How's that sound?
Okay.
That's the promotion I'm gonna do for myself.
Do I have to come over and help, or can I stay at my house?
No. Remember we were talking about that on the NWA show for September 17th that we did a couple of days ago.
All right.
Boy, y'all were talking about cranking one off in the peep booth and sticking to the seat. Y'all are some nasty, some of them are bitches.
Me and Harper like to have fun. That's all.
Okay.
We're just two good, young, middle-aged pillars of society. That's me and Harper.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Brad as well. I thought that promo was really good. It was meat and potatoes. It wasn't full of flips and dives from a promo perspective, but I thought it had a lot of depth to it. We got to see him at the beginning as well. I'm going with Brad, man.
Yeah, it was good. I got to give him a lot of credit there. That was a solid promo. Good stuff happening all the way around. All right, so that's just about, we're out of time just about now. This was a quick one, but there wasn't a ton of promos in it, to be honest with you. So we got through it rather quickly.
And here's the thing. I'm just going to tell you right now. If you thought this week was relatively short, next week may go long. So we're probably going to give this back to you next week. So there's a lot to talk about going on in next week's episode. I'm looking real forward to it.
I'll let you say that. I don't know. We'll see. All right, before we get out of here, real quick, want to remind everyone, check out the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing with ROH's Brian Malonis and Mike Crockett. They do their thing every single Monday. Just search WPAN wherever you get your podcast from. They do classic and current stuff and a little independent stuff from their area. They have Brian Fury on a lot of times. He runs the New England Pro Wrestling Academy, which is where Donovan Dijak was trained, Sasha Banks was trained. So who else? Tommaso Ciampa, all trained there. Good guys, though. Brian's on the show with them now a lot of times, so check them out. Again, they do classic and current stuff. Also, check out our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn. The northern version of BTT, slightly classier, a little bit more professional, but still fun nonetheless. They support us, so please support them. And on that note, Doc, if you don't have anything else, hit the tagline and take us home.
Well, let's book it, bitch.
before we get out of here, I want to give the patrons out there a special shout out. Thank you to all the patrons out there who make this show possible twice per week, each and every week, along with the patron content that we post as much as we can for you all. So thank you very much for being patrons. We appreciate it. It means the world to us, and I just want to say thank you. I always do at the end of the show, and here's another time. Thank you very much for your support. Also, I want to give a special shout out to all of our Hall of Fame patrons out there. Isaac Pendley at Hey It's Isaac on Twitter, Eagle_1, Kangol Fett, Lee Russell, MDQ for Life, George Davis, Kevin Carter, Michael Angel, Bob Richards, Rocky Suezo, Christopher Champer, Will Harkey, Robbie Dyson, Rick Beebe, Brad Dunifin, Tom Schlegel, Coach Joey Chase, a.k.a. Willie Chase, Steve Malbasa, Kenny Beiersdorf, Glenn Abbott, who's at G.A. WrestleNut on Twitter, Bobby Murray, Marlon Mueller, a.k.a. at Half Pints Point, my boy Marlon. Keep cutting those promos, kid. Everybody on the Facebook group loves when I say that, I guess. Josh Warren, Everett Starr, Mike Childry, Kyle Riley, Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Craig Norman, Johnny on Patreon, the great John Dean at YRC21 on Twitter, Josh Dunn, at Ryan in Auburn, good old Justin, Robert Smith, Joseph Ice, Tim Moretti, Adam Price, Brian Evans, Mark Wilson, Armando Martinez, David Jordan, Jesse Jacobs, Chris Myers, Gerald Green III, Mitchell Johnson, Mike Prue, Will Parker, Classy Alex, David DeVries, SV Pagem, Bill Sasa, Big Rich, Allen at Spyboy Sports Cap on Twitter, Ari Miller 39, Jay Shiny 21, Ruben Espinoza, Merciless Jones, Jesse Lucas, Chris Browning, Justin_Andretti, Codeman 822, Marty Howell, T-Hog 94, and God Bold Unreal. Thanks for being Hall of Fame Patreon members. And remember, to become a patron, go to tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. It is a great way to support this show and get tons of extra content. We've got over 200 patron exclusive shows up on our Patreon feed at tinyurl.com/Patreon BTT. We've got the World Class shows, Mike Prue and JV do an ECW show every 2 weeks. The World Class shows are every 2 weeks. We got the Clash of the Champions. We've done 3 of them to date. We've done 2 Jim Crockett Promotions pay-per-views to date. So there you have it. Tons of additional content along with our pre-shows. A lot of times we didn't do it. We don't do it every, I don't want to say we didn't do it this week, but we don't do a pre-show every single week. But oftentimes Doc, Harper, or any combination of us will do a pre-show before cutting the main show. So there you have it. We like to do those, and we do the pre-shows, and those are also available only for Patreon members. So please consider joining. If nothing else, think about it like this. For 4 straight years now, going on close to 5, we've kicked out at least 1 show a week. And for the majority of that time, for about 3.5 years now, we've kicked out 2 free shows per week. So when you become a patron, it helps support all the content that we've pushed out. So thank you very much if you're a patron. If not, thanks for considering. We appreciate that too. I think that's it. It's about time to get out of here. So for myself, Hardbody Harper, and Doc Turner, who's not here, you know what Harper always says when we get out of here. Book it, bitch.